Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm doing something a little bit different today. I need to put some makeup on. But look, there's been some rumours. There's rumours that Marc Jacobs Beauty is coming back. And the rumour sort of started by Trend Mood posting something. I think it was on Nordstrom, where the Marc Jacobs Beauty page pretty much says, you know, something coming soon or whatever it happens to be. Now, if you're not a fan of Marc Jacobs Beauty, you might not have realized that they actually disappeared a couple of years ago. They were owned by LVMH, who also owns Sephora, which is why they were stocked in Sephora. And I believe the contract with them between Marc Jacobs and LVMH was coming up, and they obviously didn't renew it. So they couldn't proceed with the brand. They couldn't have Marc Jacobs' name on it. And Marc Jacobs probably couldn't take the products and the formulations and create their own brand or continue their own brand without, you know, something paying and things happening. So essentially they just stopped. So it is very possible that Marc Jacobs has in the last couple of years been working on formulating his own products to make his own independent brand or owned by someone, another company. I'm not sure. It is possible that they're coming back. But I don't know. I don't know. What that sort of rumor did sort of encourage me to do though was pull out some products that I had purchased 50% off when Marc Jacobs were clearing out. And I had them sort of sitting in a box. I bought them just before I moved house and then kept them in a box. And it's made me realize I want to play with some Marc Jacobs. So is this relevant? No, but let's play with some Marc Jacobs products that we can't get anymore. All right, so the products that I have to play with that I haven't opened, I have a palette. This is a face palette. It's from the, it's the Omega ×3. So it's a powder, blush, bronze, highlighter palette. I have not even opened it. I also have the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Caffeine Concealer and Foundation, which I have not even opened. I also bought some eyeliners. I've used a couple of these, so they're not completely unopened, but these are the Highliner Matte Gel Eye Crayon. I've got Whirlpool, Mist Me, and Out of the Blue. So I've got some color liners. And then just to sort of finish it off, I brought out some old lipsticks that I have. I've got a liquid lipstick here in Hot Cocoa, and I've also got a bullet lipstick in No Angel. So I'll just decide what I want to use. I have used a few Marc Jacobs products in the past. I've used their mascara. I've used another foundation. I've used some sort of slim eyeliners, but the main things that I still have in my drawer are two. I've got a bronzer. This is the Tan-tastic bronzer, which I should actually pan because it is getting old. And I have this Guilty Omega Glaze highlighter, which who needs this amount of highlighter in their life? I don't know, but I apparently have it. Look how untouched that is. So I've got a couple of things from Marc Jacobs. So yeah, what I'm just doing today is putting on some Marc Jacobs and seeing what I think about some products that I haven't used either for a long time or haven't used at all. All right, so this is the Extra Shot concealer and foundation. My shade is 150 Light. I don't know if this is gonna suit me. I ordered this a long time ago. This is actually very small. I don't know how many mils this is. 16 mils, so it's nearly half the size of a normal foundation bottle. So let's see, hopefully a little goes a long way. The shade looks all right. I've got a damp sponge. Let's have a look. So it's going to be obviously high coverage because it can double as a concealer. Whoa, I'm not used to high coverage these days, but I do have a bit of redness to cover, so let's do it. It's nice and thin, so with a sponge anyway, it applies, doesn't feel too heavy. The shade's probably a bit light for me, but that's okay. Undertone's quite nice. And it blends quite nicely as well. I think it's going to be sort of like a matte or semi-matte finish. I'm not going to powder it because I don't have a powder to talk about. All right, looks a little bit cool tone for me. I'm looking a little bit blue, so luckily I've got the bronzer to warm it up. I feel like I do need to powder this. It looks a little bit shiny, but I actually like the feel of it. The amount of coverage is quite nice. I just think it's the wrong shade. I look grey. My neck looks so much warmer, so it's the wrong shade for me, but it is what it is. I might have to mix this in the future with a sort of warmer, slightly darker foundation just to tweak it, but I like the feel of it. It feels nice. It's very thin. Of course, you can probably build it up, but it's a small amount that you get in the tube, so I assume it's designed to be spread out and not used too much, but I quite like that. I am going to get some of my Project Pan setting powder just to set the under eye area because I can get a bit creasy if I don't set it, and then just take away a little bit of that shine because I'm just worried that, not so much that it's going to be shiny because I don't mind a bit of shine, just that I think the powder products won't sit. It might grip to certain areas and not sit very well on top if I haven't sort of set the base slightly. So that's just a slight, see, there's still some shine there. So let's open this for the first time. I don't even remember what this looks like. It's called 200 Tan-tastic Glow is the shade. I know it's one of those big giant compacts. Ooh, look. Now I have, is it bigger than that? No, it's the same size. It just feels a little bit more substantial. It's got this really cool, it looks very dated. This looks like the cupboards at my grandparents' old house. They got wardrobes in this sort of like brown marbled kind of effect, but it does look a little bit like coffee and it looks very retro. So yeah, now I've got 3 of these. Let's open it for the first time. Ooh, okay, this is quite nice actually. Here we go. So that's the trio. There's a highlighter down here. Doesn't have the shade names on there, but this highlighter looks very sort of yellow gold toned. We've got a nice bronzer. Is it the same as the Tan-tastic? I think it's the same shade as the large one. And then there's a nice sort of peachy pink matte blush up the top. So I'm going to use these today just with a little, it's a fancy Hakuhodo brush. So I'm going to start with the bronzer, just pick up a little bit. And let's bronze some of my face. Look, I do miss Marc Jacobs, I have to say. I think playing with these products, like there was no Marc Jacobs product that I didn't like. So I know a lot of people do miss, especially the big bronzer, because that was a lot of people's favorites. It blends so nicely and it's so smooth and just, I don't know, they're just nice products. So I'm gonna have to bring these into rotation more. I might try to pan at some point the big bronzer that I've had for years and years. Going in with the same brush, just with that blush, just to put a bit of color into the cheeks. Very soft and sort of smooth. Just with the same brush again, I'm going in with that gold highlighter. So this is probably not a tone that suits me super well unless I'm quite bronzed, but it's pretty. Doesn't emphasize skin texture too much. It's just like a nice, almost looks a bit coppery. I've got a lot of warmth going on in my cheeks, and then I feel like the base looks really cool. So probably not the best combo, but I think in person it looks better than it does on camera. So not used to bronzer. I'm like, what is happening to my face? All right, so just zoomed in, that's that highlighter. It looks, again, a very warm gold, but really pretty. The blush is like this peachy pink matte, quite neutral. And then I've got the bronzer, which again, I'm not used to wearing bronzer. I feel I've got too much color on my face. I don't have any eyeshadows from Marc Jacobs, so I'm just gonna go in with probably the bronzer and just dust it on the eye really quickly, not even putting primer on because I don't care. I'm just defining the eye a little bit. So really boring eyes going on, but I want to use all 3 of these liners. What I think I might do is put some of the teal color on my waterline and maybe on my lower lash line. One thing I like about these is they are retractable, so you can twist them up, which is excellent. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here. I remember them being quite nice and creamy, but this one I think it needs a bit of help to get going. yeah, just needed a bit of help sort of getting it started. It might have been just the outer layer drying out because I haven't used it for so long. But once it's sort of it's warmed up a bit, it's moving, it does apply quite nicely. And I remember these, once you put them on like the waterline, they don't budge much. All right, the purple shade. Again, I think it needs a little bit, oh, such a good color. Oh my God, like you can barely see it. It's taking its time. Warm it up, come on. Come on, friend, come on out. But it is a really cool color. One thing I didn't like about Marc Jacobs was they had these like limited edition colors, and I don't know if this was limited edition. You can barely see it on camera. I don't know if this purple was limited edition, but they'd have some really awesome colors, and I'd bring out for like one season and then discontinue it, and you'd only get the like basic colors permanently in the collection. So that was one bummer about Marc Jacobs. This shade, look, it's definitely a little bit of a fun pop. It doesn't really line the eyes very well, but I really like this light purple color. I think it's very pretty. All right, let's see if we can bring this together with the sort of cobalt blue color. Just mix those in a little bit. I love this blue, such a cool color. I used to wear these sort of blue liners all the time, and then I don't know what happened, but I need to pull it out and use it more. It's very pretty. All right, I'm just gonna go back in with the purple and sort of mix those two together, just to create more of a transition. That's such a nice combo. That's it, got to do this more often. The purple to blue, very pretty. Just gonna do some mascara and brows off camera because they're not Marc Jacobs products. I've got Winky Luxe brow product and a Maybelline mascara. Mascara always makes things look a little bit better, doesn't it? I'm loving the combination of the blue and the purple. I think where it merges together and blurs together, that sort of bluey purple color, I think it's divine. I think it's so pretty. Forgot how much fun colored liners are. All right, lip product. I'm probably just going to go for the Bullet lipstick because it's a little bit more, it's not as bold, and I sort of want to, I'm going to use the viewfinder as my mirror. Love that color. It's like a toffee color. I think both of them are actually this kind of color. So liquid lipstick was probably a little bit more rosy, a little bit more bold, but I like it. I like it all. So that's my get ready using my Marc Jacobs products. I do miss Marc Jacobs, I'm gonna say. I think it's, look, I don't really miss Becca. Some of their highlighters were nice. Other products, yeah, sure. But Marc Jacobs leaving the market, in my opinion, was a big loss. And I would honestly love to see it come back in a different sort of refreshed way. I think Marc Jacobs always had a nice level of quality, but also some elements of fun. So yeah, I look at the highlighter. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, my face feels really nice and smooth. All right, so that was just a jog down memory lane, play with some makeup that I think still is worthy of talking about, even if it doesn't exist anymore. If you've got some Marc Jacobs and you really enjoy it, pull it out, use it, give it some love. And I like everything I put on today. Let's put it out there. So thank you for getting ready with me. Let me know if you loved Marc Jacobs. What was your favorite product? What do you miss? What do you still have? What do you use? And if Marc Jacobs does come back, what would you like to see from the brand? There we go. So I'll see you in the next one.